Today we'll learn how to write JS code on dPlat. So for learning this, we'll be taking an example where we will take two inputs and will display their sum. So first of all, let's take a form and we'll be using two input boxes for taking input. So let's take one input box, we name it number 1, and we'll take another input box and we'll name it number 2. Also we'll change the label to number 1 and this label to number 2. So we just need only one button here, so I'll delete the other one. So now we go to our JS section. So here you can see that we have this option of creating a JS object. So I click add JS object and now our screen has opened where we can see an editor where we can write our JS code. So from here you can rename your JS object. Suppose I just name it JS object 2 here, and we can see that there is a bit difference in writing JS on dPlat than you typically write your JS code on your browser or your code editor. So here everything happens inside a JS object. Instead of you writing any function or using any variables in your JavaScript code, here everything is done inside a JS object. So this is the name of your JS object, and here you can see that we have our methods and our properties that can be assigned inside this JS object. So also we have two type of methods here. One is we can see that we have this async variable here, so we can use asynchronous calls inside this function, and one is this normal function. So that's how we can write our JS code inside these inside like this type of format. So first of all, for our example, we'll be editing this function. We'll just name it sum and we'll return the addition of the inputs we take on our input boxes. So the name of our input box is number 1 and number 2. So what I'll do, I'll open two curly braces here and I'll find the name of the input box 1, which is number 1, and dot text, plus open two more curly braces, number 2 dot text. So this function sum will return the addition of these two numbers. So that's done for our JS function here. So I'll go back to my page and I'll just go back again to this number 1 and number 2 input box, and I'll assign it to be a number only. So we have a data type option here. I'll choose number, and for the number 2 input box I'll again choose data type as number. So for displaying the content of whatever that function returns, I'll need one more UI component, which is the text box. So I'll write text here and I'll put it here on the screen. So, and for the label, whatever is getting returned from our sum method which was inside JS object 2 will be displayed on this text box. So I'll just find my function which is JS object 2, and inside that I have sum and the data which will be returned after executing this sum method here. So on the click of the button, I'll choose to execute a JS function, and from here I'll choose my JS object 2, and inside that I'll choose the sum method. So suppose I input a number 2 here and a number 4 here, and whenever I click sum, I think we got some error here. So there is one more option that we can also debug our JS functions from here. So whenever I click on this, we can see there are a lot of errors getting shown here. So we can debug our JS code from here also, and we can see what are the errors we are getting. So it has some type error, sum is not a function. So I'll go back again. So we get some error here. So I don't think we need to pass curly braces here, so I'll just remove them. Okay, so also we can test our function directly from here on this screen. As we can see, we are getting this arrow. So when I click it, it will execute it and it will directly display the output of our function here. So if I go back to my original screen, and when I click sum here, so it is displaying 6 here. So suppose I put 5 and 5 here, now it should return me 10. So when I click it, and we can see that 10 is being displayed here. So that was a simple example of how to use JS objects in dPlat.